Greetings to all. My name is Rohan, and our topic of the presentation is AI in chatbot design. So, before understanding anything be- of our topic, we first need to understand what is chatbot and why should we basically care about chatbot. So, chatbot is a computer program designed to simulate conversation between humans and a machine, especially over the internet using artificial intelligence. So, there are some amazing data regarding the same. Uh, as per internet, some good reports, 80% of the business plan will have a chatbot by 2021. 63% of the user would consider using a chatbot to obtain customer service. By 2021, chatbot will have replaced 50% of the application used in the workforce. So, by all this data, we can understand that chatbot can transform the way we interact with the internet from a series of self-initiated tasks to quasi conversation. Quasi conversation means it's a human-like conversation, not exactly human, but it seems like human is talking to us. So Siri, Alexa, Cortana are some common example of the chatbot which we can encounter in our daily life as well. So history of the chatbot. This is some basic history. Like it started from 1966, Eliza, and currently we have Alexa, Cortana, Google Assistant, etc., etc. So 1966 Eliza. So Eliza was one of the first chatbot that simulate conversation as a psychotherapist. It mimics human conversation by matching user input to a scripted response. Like there was some scripted response from the backend which it mimics. It is claimed by some to be one of the first program to be able to pass Turing test, even though this view is highly contagious. Perry, 1972, simulated a person with paranoid schizophrenia. It is more serious and advanced than Eliza, described as Eliza with attitude. 1981, Jabberwocky. British programmer Rollo Carpenter created the first incarnation of this chatbot with the goal of creating artificial intelligence that could pass Turing test. Earliest attempt of creating an AI through human interaction. It was mainly a form of entertainment. The ultimate goal of moving from text-based system to wholly voice-operated was the goal of 1981 Jabberwocky. Then in 1991 we have Dr. Spezzo. It was an AI speech synthesis program created for MS-DOS based PCs. It was designed to showcase a digitalized voice. It was far more lifelike despite assuming the role of a psychologist. Then we have 1995 ALICE. It stands for Artificial Linguistic Internet Computer Entity. It was basically a natural language processing bot, and it was in the backend applying heuristic based matching rules to human input. So for understanding this in more detail, we have artificial intelligence markup language. It is an XML dialect for creating natural language software agent. So this AI ML was used to create or customize Alice bot, which is a chatbot based application based on this Alice. It was popularly used to create rule based order. Like for example, we have some pattern, and if a pattern is matched by the user, then we have a template. Like we have to respond with that template. For example, if we get a pattern as what is your name, so template will throw that my name is Scott. In 2001, we got Smart Child. It was an intelligent bot widely used distributed across SMS networks. It had features such as quick data access and fun personalized conversation. It was developed by ActiveBuddy Inc. It provides real-time integration via IM, MSN, and Yahoo Messenger. In 2006, we got IBM Watson. It was basically designed to compete in an American television show called Jeopardy, and it actually won in 2011 against two of the show's former champions. It used NLP and ML to reveal insight from a large amount of data. Now, in 2010, we got Apple's Siri. It was intelligent and cheeky personal assistant. It is actually part of Apple's iOS, and it features a natural language user interface to answer question and perform web service requests. Like we can ask anything from Siri. In Google now 2012, it was developed for Google Search app. It answers question, make recommendation, and perform action by delegating requests to web services. It is now name is changed and it is now popularly known as Google Assistant. Then in 2015 we got two chatbots. One is Alexa. It is a voice service in the Amazon Echo devices. And in Cortana 2015, Microsoft also launched Cortana. It is actually embedded in all the Microsoft devices, Microsoft laptop and all currently. It is personal assistant by Microsoft and it sets reminder and uses Bing search engine to answer questions.
Hello, my name is Sachin Verma. I'm here to talk about the types of chatbots. So, first we have two classification of chatbots. One of them is open chatbots. Open chatbots learn from conversations and can simulate almost human responses. They provide good user experience because they keep on learning and deliver close to accurate responses to the user request. The next one we have is closed chatbots. Closed chatbots follow a structured conversation script. They differ from open chatbots in a way that they are built to serve a particular purpose to the users and they do not learn anything new. So now we already have two classifications, two kinds of chatbots, but and that was also accurate classification, but nowadays more granular classification is used, and according to them we have two kinds of chatbots. One is task oriented and the other one non-task oriented. First, we have task oriented chatbots, which are built to provide users with conversational services like playing games, listening songs, etc. They train themselves from the information present on internet and learn appropriate responses. And next, we further classify non-task oriented chatbots into two categories. First is retrieval based. This kind of chatbots focus on finding the most appropriate response out of all applicable responses to any human request. The next one we have is generation based. For each user request, different response is given in this kind of classification. Now we have task oriented chatbot. So these chatbots are actually built around a certain use case, helping users to achieve a certain goal. This is also subcategorized into two kinds. One is supervised, the other one unsupervised. In supervised approach, chatbots break the user sentences on the basis of semantics and using custom feature extraction rules and extensive database, the response is generated. The next one we have is unsupervised. In this kind of chatbots, they are actually trained over large data set consisting of user messages and their appropriate responses, and then good user response is given as an output. It is a bit cheaper option than supervised both in setup and training cost. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anupam Gupta, and the next section of the presentation that we're going to be looking at is understanding how chatbots work. We're going to be looking at some of the techniques that are frequently used during the development of chatbots in order to, uh, first of all, communicate with the user in order to compute a specific response, and then in order to convey that response back to the user. Like we have seen earlier, there are different categories of chatbots that are used in different fields of life. However, the three things that remain constant throughout any chatbot are that we need to assess the interaction that happens with the user. We need to understand the intent behind any user's command. We need to compute an appropriate response based on what the user has asked for. and then we need to convey that response back to the user in a format that they can understand. Some of the techniques that are used through uh, the development of any chatbot in order to satisfy these tasks are natural language processing, natural language understanding, and natural language generation. Let us look at these in more detail. NLP. NLP stands for Natural Language Processing. It is a branch of computer science that is focused on understanding how human conversation works. It is a combination of different fields of learning, the most important of which is actually the field of linguistics, which helps us understand the grammar behind any human conversation. It helps us understand what sentences mean, how we can break them up into different themes, and understanding what kind of response is appropriate for each use case. On top of this, we actually want to learn how this conversation works. So this can be done using very simple, using different techniques of learning actually. It could be simple machine learning models, or in recent years there has been more focus on using deep learning models in order to replicate conversations. Now, NLP is actually sort of an umbrella term that is used in various use cases. For example, some of the things that NLP can be thought of as doing are simple things such as converting all text to lowercase or fixing grammatical mistakes, but it can also be thought of as the driving engine behind more complex tasks. For example, converting text from one language to another, or going through large volumes of text and understanding the basic gist behind um, the text that we have just read. Moving on, let us look at NLU. NLU stands for Natural Language Understanding. NLU is a subfield of NLP that is focused solely on understanding how human conversation works. It is, for example, NLU could be the driving force behind understanding what a sentence means. If the sentence can be broken up into different categories, understanding what the user is trying to say, or is there more than one thing that the user is trying to say in a sentence, etc. The way that NLU works is it uses pre-written rules that have been defined for the human grammar in order to analyze each sentence. In addition, it also uses things that it has learned from conversations that it has seen earlier in order to understand the actual intent behind a conversation. In the frame of chatbots, NLU is extremely important because we need to understand what the user is trying to say through any single command so that we can compute an appropriate response and then present it back to the user. NLG. NLG stands for Natural Language Generation. In contrast to NLP and NLU that we have seen so far, which are focused more on understanding how human conversation works, NLG is actually focused more on the feedback mechanism of chatbots. It is focused on conveying the computed response back to the user in a format that it can understand. Now, this can be as simple as just pushing the data out, pushing the response out as text, but it could also be something as complex as converting that response into different languages, or converting that response into different dialects based on the grammar rules of the dialect, etc. Some of the ways that the NLG works is through techniques such as content determination, data interpretation, document planning, sentence aggregation, grammaticalization, and language implementation. So in the frame of chatbots, like we have seen earlier, NLP, NLU, and NLG are actually the driving forces behind controlling the interaction between the machine and the user, and understanding what the user is trying to say, and then computing an appropriate response and then conveying it back to the user.
My name is Akhilesh Hessa, and I will now be covering the portion on applications of chatbots. Tech giants like IBM, Facebook, Google, and other leading corporates are increasingly promoting the use of conversational agents such as chatbots or virtual assistants. These agents engage the online audience, they make their experience interactive, and most importantly, it helps to capture data on the website visitors. Apart from this, they also offer added advantages such as they cut down on the operational costs and time. And it has also been observed that millennials love chatbots because of the speed of communication and ease of use. As such, there has been a clear emerging trend whereby chatbots have found wide-scale adoption in industries. Some examples of applications include in human resources, e-commerce, learning management systems, customer service, financial services and insurance, sales and marketing. I will now discuss applications of chatbot in HR. In the organization, chatbots are performing the role of a communication tool. Activities such as benefits enrollment, frequently asked questions, application for leave requests, feedback collection, etc., have now been automated with the help of chatbots. They are even being employed for tasks such as candidate screening. When there are a lot of applicants, bots make the process easier by providing necessary instructions, collecting the required information, selecting the qualifying candidates, responding to the unsuccessful, and then scheduling interviews, etc., thus saving a lot of time and effort on the part of the HR professionals. Moving on to the chatbots and learning management systems, e-learning is gaining popularity and is widely used in modern education. Also, as mobile devices are becoming more widespread and more powerful than ever before, e-learning is also shifting to the mobile platform. Students also prefer e-learning platforms as they can learn and study at any time and from anywhere as long as they have access to the platform. Even so, there are several limitations. Some studies show that video on demand streaming or open online courses designed for individual learning may cause students to experience feelings of isolation and detachment. This can be due to lack of interaction with other students and the instructor, leading to reduced motivation to learn. There is an effort being made to bridge this gap with the use of conversational chatbots in learning platforms. Current practices typically use two types of models to create responses: retrieval-based model and a generative-based model. A retrieval-based model is aimed at solving specialized learning problems related to the courses. This model is essentially a matching process between an input question and an output answer. We can use cosine similarity or another trained CNN LSTM model to calculate the matching probability between a question and an answer. All responses are then saved in the database and are used to predict the correct response with greater probability. However, this model suffers from low coverage in responses. That is, it can only answer questions within its knowledge domain. Generative-based models do not store predefined responses in a database. The response is created by the model itself and used in applications of open or wide coverage response, such as chatting. The most used generative-based machine learning model is sequence-to-sequence models. It consists of one encoder and one decoder that are based on a neural network model. In the training state, the encoder receives word embedding vectors from the question string as input, and the decoder receives word embedding vectors from the response string as output. By pairing the encoder's vector result to the decoder's input, we can train the model to create responses via its trained decoder. However, this model is hard to build since it needs a huge selected dataset to train the model. This here is a snippet of what a conversation with a hybrid model chatbot would look like. It uses both retrieval-based and QANet model for generating the responses. QANet model uses the information learned from an article to answer question on the article. It is being used to create responses that mimic a real companion. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Vikas Rao and I will be talking about the impact of chatbots in healthcare sector. The healthcare industry is one of the world's largest and fastest growing industries. Having one of the largest customer bases and involving closer human interaction, it seems counterintuitive that conversational AI chatbots pose as a viable solution to it. Providing information about various symptoms and diseases, appointment scheduling, tracking patients' progress can be done easily by the use of chatbots. Moreover, it improves patient engagement and inspires loyalty for your organization. The customers can also save a lot of time and money that are spent on unnecessary traveling, tests, and treatment. Finally, as a patient, it gives patient a personalized care and constant motivation like a personal nurse to deal with their problems and also keep track of their diet, medicines, appointments, etc. Now let's move to the architecture overview of a healthcare chatbot. Following are the features that should be there to improve the patient's experience while using it. Receive and understand user input. A chatbot should always be sufficiently dynamic to communicate with patients via a multiple input and output modalities, including voice, text, and smart display. Develop intelligent responses. The responses generated should be concise and easy to understand. It should be aware of patient's context and answer accordingly. Its knowledge should evolve over time with more interaction, and with increasing volume of data, the complexity of reasoning are expected to increase, but it should always maintain a balance so that it does not go overboard. Finally, inference reasoning and prediction, that is, it should be able to assess situation and take proper decisions, like in case of emergency, it can immediately notify a physician. Now the next question arises, how we can model the AI chatbot. The bot can handle user requests and identify message patterns by using AIML, artificial intelligence markup language. Depending on user responses, AIML logic recognizes the symptomatic keyword and assesses the current user medical conditions. From the large backend database, the chatbot asks multiple questions to identify the severity of the disease. Once it has all the necessary details, it then provides the user with physician details or the nearest hospital's location and immediate follow-up household preventive measures. Last but not the least, chatbots are undoubtedly one of the most highly demanded and required technological advancement in the healthcare sector. Their importance rise exponentially during a serious pandemic like COVID-19, when going to hospitals is a risk in itself. Early symptoms can be detected and subsequently treated from home quite easily. And in case of emergency, the chat can provide the nearest hospital with patient location so that quick medical service can reach there. Many a times it happens that patients suffering from mental problems like depression, anxiety, etc. feel uncomfortable sharing their problems. In such cases, chatbots can guide them to overcome their insecurities and negative thoughts. Together, patients, health workers, and technology, we can ensure that chatbot always say the right thing. Thank you.